So let us start with the very brief presentation about the project that aims further challenges in the world. On one hand, globalization, on the other hand, digital transformation and technology development. So what is the idea of this project? What is the aim and ambition of this project? Is to cover the niche of further entrepreneurship development, because now we have students, we have entrepreneurs, we have companies, but we all need to learn every day more and more about the business environment, about the technologies, about the changing regulations. So that's why this project addresses the need to address this further development in the world related to the entrepreneur's knowledge and experience, especially within the internationalized world and especially digital skills. Within this project, we are developing a specific new learning model. And what is this specificity incorporated there? Taking the opportunity to address specific financial knowledge and digital knowledge related to the new technologies and new solutions. One of the discipline of the modules there is business intelligence. So that's why we are all together here related to business intelligence and analytics. How we are approaching this challenge for entrepreneurs' development in the future? This is, of course, to analyze the whole environment. Entrepreneurs today, they do need to study new, to receive knowledge and skills every day and to develop themselves and to increase their performance within the practice. In this respect, we need to learn how to have this learning during all the lifelong learning. In order to support this lifelong learning, projects like this are developing concrete training materials to be available for students and for entrepreneurs. And a lot of practical experiences are put within the project as well in order to have this concrete and very deep support to entrepreneurs. Within the project, in parallel with training materials that are developed covering different modules, SME Hub has been developed, and this is something that is very important for the future in order to encompass regulations, to encompass different specific country requirements and legislations. Why this is important for today? Because now we see, even within this challenging environment, that we need to know what is going and what are the specific regulations in each country separately. It's very difficult to have a common decision in Europe and in all the world. So what is the learning model and what are the main modules? The main modules are related, as I said, to company development and financial knowledge related to sustainability of the companies, related, as I said, to the regulations and requirements, and these topics that are really touching our students and entrepreneurs that are challenging information and communication technology solutions, cybersecurity, digital marketing, digital transformation and strategy. This is something that our students went through, managing relationships with customers online, and data analytics and business intelligence. Each of these modules, they are developed in specific units, and as I said, these units are organized in concrete learning materials encompassed within a platform with different examples, with different training activities. So this is really a very good solution in order if we would like to learn more, to check within the platform and participate in the training. The other challenge is that all these materials that I presented, they are translated in different languages for each of the partners. We have web page for the project as well, translated for each country, and we have a brochure considering the innovation hub that we are developing here. And why we are very happy with this project? Because on one hand we are delivering knowledge, on the other hand we are collecting different materials that are critical to be used by all entrepreneurs in their local and their international activities. On the other hand, we are creating a network. This is a very good opportunity to stay linked in between students, in between entrepreneurs, in between trainers and practitioners. So this is more or less what I would like to mention, because the students, this class especially, did participate in training materials in English. So thank you very much for your kind attention. Now, if you allow me to give the floor to Professor Kisimov to speak about the challenges within the research aspects related to big data and digital transformation of economy. Professor Kisimov, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the floor. Dear colleagues, if you allow me to start the slides for the presentation and share these slides with you. But before this, just to tell you, this is a project related to creation of a center of competence for digital transformation of economy in the environment of big data. That means how to transform the economical business processes in a way to use big data. Generally speaking, what means to transform digitally the business processes? Means to make the digital processes in a way that they can run in computers or in computer systems. So you see some way of you see some way of system for big data, and also some type of computer systems which will help us to digitalize the stories. And without speaking too much, I'll go with this presentation. I hope you see the presentation. Is it correct?
Yes, or yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So we can go in a way where now. So it's a project which is under the umbrella of 6 academic entities, 5 universities, and 1 Institute of Bulgarian Academy of Science. This is Institute of Information and Communication Technologies. From the functional point of view, what we're trying to do in our center of competence. Why I'm speaking in future steps? Because this project started mid-2080s and have to finish 2023, end of 2023. So some of the results are already done. You see them. I have a picture for some of the results. Of course, the material outside how it looks like. But I would like to tell you what functionally we try to do. Professor Stefanova, do I have 10-15 minutes?
Yes, you do.
Thank you. So, our purpose is to have digitalized business processes, which in one complex way, it is ERP. ERP is Enterprise Resource Planning. That means all subsystems which are in one commercial company to be in one place integrated in the integrated database. We have such types of ERPs, like the two big ERPs which exist in the world, SAP and Oracle. We can say in the middle level is Microsoft software, which is Dynamics. And after that, we have many small pieces. One of the smallest pieces is accounting system. The other smallest pieces is warehouse management. The third smallest pieces is HR system, etc. So we're trying to combine, and I hope you see my mouse as well, big data, which is mainly non-structural data. Of course, in the big data, there is a place for structural data, but mainly for non-structural data and semi-structural data. Business processes are those which can be run in a standard-based computers. We try to implement world best practices in these two integration, of course, with a leading role of security, information security. Our type of R&D is under the management because in the management of R&D we have about 52 different R&D projects, which part of them we have already done, part of them we are planning and in the process to provide. And in this R&D activities, we'll have some benchmarking, which means where we can have better results or not good results from performance point of view, not from functional point of view. So I can tell you some of the results. I hope we'll go to this level to tell you some of our practical results. But the major story is we provide these IT resources under the business intelligence, because without business intelligence, we cannot go to the some mid or higher level of advices, suggestions, some kind of recommendation, some kind of support of what is good or optional to do. Of course, because we're a university here, we're trying to implement everything in education and qualification. Under education, we have in mind some kind of education in student type of work. We try 2 semesters to implement our big data system because it is one of the already existing big data computer system which is working. And we also speaking about qualification, which means every one new thing which we create under this umbrella of the Center of Competence Functionality, we provide with training of researchers and training of lecturers from the universities, or like in Europe, willing to say, train the trainers. We provide all these services under two main groups of services, cloud and hosting. Cloud, because everything is under the cloud services these days, but hosting, because we offer from the entire place at the moment of Bulgaria, but because it's suitable for internet, we are ready to offer to different research entities to participate with their computer systems or to use our computer system equally if they're in their premises, which is different than using a cloud services. But we offer both. Of course, we have digitalizing of business processes. We have IT product selection services. That means what kind of IT systems could be done for a particular business needs. Business needs under this umbrella, digitalization of business processes with using a big data. And we have creation of strategies. That means if somebody is coming and say, listen, I have some big data, which at the moment I can keep in a relational database, but it's growing, and I don't know what to do, how to do, etc. Like we have a company which is dealing with cracks Europe in the entire Europe, and they collect they created a special devices for these tracks which generate 24/7 data, and they collect this data for 1 month. After 1 month, they don't have place to keep this data, and also because they cannot keep this data, they cannot analyze this data. And analysis is, according to me, one of the lowest level of business intelligence. And our focus today is business intelligence. That means data analysis is also part of our focus. So we have all this functional part as a centralized part of our system. At the same time, we're in a process at the moment to organize 5 types of networks through which our partner, the other 5 members of the consortium, that means other 4 universities and 1 institute of Bulgarian Academy of Science, and also to integrate different researchers, to integrate different Internet of Things devices. One of the network here, which we organize, is to deal with Internet of Things, having in mind one of the network is LoRaWAN, then the other network is GSM network, which is the only one network which cover all places, more or less, all places on a 90+% in Europe. And also going, of course, 5G is part of this GSM networking. And our type of Internet of Things are mainly for devices which are with low energy and low bandwidth and low content. That means I put one device and after 10 years I'm going to change the battery. Or we can have devices which devices are running on a very high bandwidth, which can change part of the business processes. Of course, we open the door for companies and organizations which want to do research. So, our purpose is not to run different business systems, not at all. Our purpose is to do only research and development. And if somebody is see the light of the end of this way, how to make its system, what kind of possible results can be received, then this company can go to somebody providing appropriate software, appropriate development, appropriate intelligent work, and at the end to receive their commercial systems. But we, as a center of competence, we're not dealing with commercial products, only for research and development. From the functional conceptual level to the IT conceptual level, we can go to this second picture, where we have centralized resources, which centrally located in our university, where let me show you what kind of group of resources we have. We have the first group of resources. It is for ERP, which ERP is not SAP based, it is Oracle based. I told you we have in the world ERP and SAP and Oracle, and they both functionally more or less the same these days, independently that SAP is more popular from the historical point of view. But these days Oracle went very close to all functions which SAP offers. So we have this ERP system. It is already established, already running, and we have two systems of ERP. One is for education and training, and one is for development. For development is on a smaller scale servers, because we plan to have a low-level development, then running, demonstration, experimenting, and seeing how this could be done to the bigger scale servers that we use. Otherwise, from the functional point of view, they are the same. So we have this ERP system where all business intelligence, saying all, but what means all? I'll show you 9 business areas. This I mean all business intelligence, all business processes that are incorporated. All of them are converted to Bulgarian laws, because we're sitting in Bulgaria. That means it is, let's say, in accounting level, we have a Bulgarian accounting law with appropriate type of set of accounts established, etc. We produce appropriate documents which are relevant and needed from our national revenue agency. If I can translate well, a revenue agency is the agency through which once per year all companies pay taxes. So all these ERP modules are reprogrammed or recustomized or modularized to serve the Bulgarian laws. On the top of this, the entire ERP system is functioning on top of the Oracle database, which these days Oracle database is working in memory. I think I have a picture to make a difference. Why we focus to database in memory? Because when we speak to big data, it is important to go a little bit quicker, because some of the analysis of big data, they can take not hours, not days, can take weeks. And in the research activities, in the pure research activities, this could be, let's say, okay. But when you go to somebody which is driving his business process for production purposes, the time is very important. On the top of this, we're speaking now of a new direction, which is called HPDA, which means High Performance Data Analytics. That means on this enormous or very big set of data that we have, we should do analysis a little bit quicker. I'm not speaking about real-time analysis. Speaking about analysis on big data, we should definitely set no real-time analysis. But we can try to go to the near to real time. That means some results can go in a small part of the drinking coffee. The other could be in the duration of one lunch. The other could be of the duration of one night. So I'm trying to focus this based on the different big data systems which can be organized. We use for our big data systems the philosophy of Hadoop. Hadoop is open source philosophy, and it is open source software over, generally speaking, over general purpose computers, which speaking we can get different computers and to organize one Hadoop system. But this is very research oriented definition. If we go to business, I have in mind corporate business, then we can speak only about production performance. In this case, we're speaking to different systems organized by well-established computer systems. Now, I don't like to say that Yahoo or Facebook are based on Hadoop. Yes, they're based, let's speaking about Facebook, they're based on many Hadoop systems. So we organized our type of production on a system which is managed by Cloudera. And we go a little bit more after that to see how CMS can be used. Why CMS? Because CMS is content management systems. Because CMS is also one of repositories for big data. And about the Hadoop, just to tell you, we organize Hadoop, which is about 4.5 petabyte as a disk space. And we have 3 levels of Hadoop. The so-called from us production, but this doesn't mean that we're producing something. For quick execution, we have about 40 servers systems. And after that, we go to a little more down level of computer configurations. We integrate database of ERP with Hadoop, which means for our ERP systems, which analyze different business processes, we're using not only relational data, we're using different type of non-structural or semi-structural data. And our CMS and non-SQL data can be seen as data of Hadoop, which can be seen as data or in the ERP systems. We organize different business process management. That means to design different processes and to go to digitalization based on the fact that in Bulgaria we have more than 90% small and medium enterprise, and we are ready to go to. We're going to ready to support some research on a micro level enterprises. We're using a Microsoft SQL Server with Polybase to make data in this server together with Hadoop data as one repository of data, because many business processes are organized on Microsoft level. Just one picture what to the moment we have in our data center. Something about the processing in memory. We focused, as you see here, on two types of databases, Oracle database and Microsoft SQL Server database, because they are with the new features about working in memory, which means our tables, which are from the big data, can be seen as data in memory for all transactional systems, which are systems running data analysis in real. So this is one picture which show the center is Hadoop as a database system. We have Oracle ERP, which works directly with the data in Hadoop. We have Microsoft SQL Server with small different applications. We can start to develop from scratch new applications, working with data on this SQL Server. SQL Server today is on Windows or Linux. And this data can be seen as data from Hadoop. And all this data of three types of repositories can be used for transaction or for data analysis. Different approaches we have on this, how to use our type of system. I would like to tell you only one way here. This is the 9 areas of businesses for which we are focusing to do digital transformation. As you see, of course, we're starting with accounting and finances. We go logistics, CRM, marketing, human resources, estate management, a very big type of part of the economy, Bulgaria, manufacturing, of course, and IT and warehouse management. So, especially on this area number 8, we had one research with good results. We collected different data. We collected data from California traffic, which we collect data in real time. We collect data from the shares of Microsoft. You can say, why Microsoft? The answer is, why not? Yeah. We would like to get some shares of a well-known company, and we use data from the air quality in Bulgaria, not Sofia, in the entire Bulgaria. And we organize this data, organize collecting of data, organize classifying of this data, and we use one type of new architecture, in which case, when one data is coming, it's storing in Hadoop, in big data, but at the same time, in transit, this data affects the quality of the real-time or near real-time analysis of big data. So we organize this type of experiments as well. So please give me permission to stop up to here, and if you have questions, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you very much, Professor Kisimov. This is really a very good example of how, in fact, the challenge of data is getting in further development, because we are generating within the electronic transactions data, but how to use this data for the management purposes. On one hand, as we spoke, we need to have this data science to understand the data, to store the data, and then to analyze this data. And within these classes that we are having with our students, we are trying to support them in their knowledge, how they to gain knowledge and experience of all these steps within the data organization and data analytical processes in order to support the different business areas in the future. So thank you very much, Professor Kisimov, for demonstrating the aspects of research related to data organization, related to data analysis. And speaking about... Thank you very much. Do you have questions to Professor Kisimov? If not, please allow me once we have been speaking about data collection, organization, and different tools participating in this really very big process, technological process, let me give the floor to our colleagues from Adastra company in order they to share with us their experience related to the analytical part. That is really upper part without which any business could not survive today, because without analyzing what and why and how certain processes are performing, we could not proceed in the future. So, Zachary, Peter, Violeta,
Hi
taking.
again.
Thank you. So, we're giving the floor to Zachary.
Thanks again for inviting us, and we are very glad that we are able here to speak in front of your students and you. First, our lecture will be split on three main parts. First, Peter Pavov will start with a presentation regarding information management and management and data analytics solutions and their business application. Then I will speak more about the company presentation. We'll present the company. And at the end, Violeta Gerenska will say some more words regarding the opportunities for starting IT professionals in our field. So let me, in the beginning of our part, to give the word to Peter Pavov, who is one of our senior consultants and also is leading the office of Adastra, Bulgaria, which is situated in Varna. So, Peter, maybe you can start.
It's really nice to be here with you guys today. Thanks for giving me the floor also to share my experience and my vision over the business information management and how we do the things here in Adastra. My focus in the presentation that I have prepared falls slightly to the theoretical part, but I also have some examples that should be of interest to you guys and see what we have done for some of our clients. Without further ado, I'll share my screen. Okay. It's alive now, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, then. Why actually we are here as a company? The main reason is because information management is what we do. That's the main focus of our business, and we have tried to offer solutions to our clients in any of the subparts that comprise the business information management. And big data is just one of the things that we're doing. We do also data governance. We offer a variety of cloud services, AI, machine learning, and digital business transformation, like you already discussed. And in the recent years, we've been focused a lot in the robotic processing automation, the RPA part, which is really gaining a lot of traction. And we see a huge interest in our clients in the past couple of years, let's say. Zachary can say, of course, a few more words about the company later on, once he gets that chance. Okay, first of all, I'd like to start with explaining what exactly is the information management. Then I will discuss the three pillars that the business information management consists of. Then I'll dive a bit into each of them, just a bit. I'll discuss some parts of the analytics solutions and how I'd like to look at those solutions, how I divide them into different categories. And at the end, I'll just mention a few words about prediction models. Since I have limited time, I would not dive really deep into the technological side of the things. It's more like a description of how we do the things. Okay, so what is the business information management? That is a process of managing information as a strategic resource in our organization. It's a common sense that we should, at all costs, try to maintain high level of information. Means that we should try to do as much as possible to capture all the possible information that our organization comes across, simply because that would deliver later on additional value for our company. What could be this value? This value could help us invent a new product or come up with a new service or entire business model that we offer to our clients. This additional value can tell us more about our customers and suppliers, what they like to do more, what they don't like to do that much, how our suppliers, for example, like to do business with us. All these can help us, of course, improve our decision making, and at the end, it can give us an edge, a competitive advantage over our competitors. And at the end, of course, that means survival for our business. I'm not sure how old is the audience here, the dominant part of the audience, but I'm pretty sure you remember what the mobile phones market looked like prior to 2007 and before Apple introduced their iPhone. You know, the names that were dominating that market were Nokia, Sony Ericsson, maybe Samsung as well. And you know what happened afterwards. Once iPhone hit the market, it totally changed that world. Actually, the world around us in so many ways that it's hard to describe it even nowadays. That could not happen if there wasn't enough of research, enough of analysis done on Apple's side, and that they decided to risk a bit and dive into this direction. Yeah, that's just one of the examples of recent years that showed how being in possession of the proper piece of information helps you gain control over the market that you are exposed to. Okay, one example that we did for one of our customers, it was a huge insurance company that operates in Bulgaria. You know, each large business, each enterprise has several main goals, and that's one of them is always to be competitive, to have huge profit margin, or at least constantly increase the profit margin that they are working with. And of course, try to gain more of the market share from their competitors. So we were approached by our client, and we were given the task to help them solve an issue with frauds that happen with insurance claims, on insurance policies concerning car damage. This so-called Casco insurance policies in Bulgaria. I'm not sure whether the same name is used elsewhere in the world, but yeah, it looks like it was a common practice for people to commit fraud and pretend that there was some kind of a car accident and thus trying to claim money from the insurance company. And our client had a whole department consisting of 10 people that were analyzing on a daily basis about 400 insurance claims. So it means that each person was processing roughly about 40 insurance claims on a daily basis. And that was overwhelming them a lot. It was causing a lot of issues. Plus, you know, there is always the subjective part that each of the people, each of the employees can apply when deciding whether there was a fraud or not. Having that in mind, the company wanted to automate as much as possible this operation, and of course reduce the human factor to the least possible amount there. The graphics, this schema on the right hand side is not so important what it shows. It is just the architecture a high level how our solution looked like at the end. But like I said, don't pay attention to it that much right now. What is important here is to understand that each of these manually done operations could have been and were automated at the end by simply defining some rules that can be used later on by our solution in order to classify each of the claims. Idea is like this: certain rules give more weight to one policy over the other, and at the end, each of these policies gets a final score from, let's say, 0 to 100. The higher the score, the more likely there is a fraud done with this claim, and the employee can set a limit, a threshold, above which or below which he or she doesn't want to take a look at the claims, and just keep only those that are of the top 10 or top 20 highest scores. That literally changed the way how they were processing all these claims. From a department with 10 people, they came down to only 2 people serving this purpose. In a matter of a few minutes, starting each day, the people that were left responsible for serving this needs could have tell what are actually the claims that required additional attention and where their effort should be put in order to eliminate the possible fraud there. So that was made possible just because we managed to define the certain set of rules, and of course code it in, store it, use the proper tools, and at the end, actually the client was so happy that they actually expanded the application of our solution in a way that can tell them whether there is actually dependency between the frauds. It turns out that clients might be in a complex network, interchangeable network. So one person can be part of multiple frauds. And by introducing this additional set of rules, how to identify them, we were able to create something called the network analysis, based on which we were able even to find more frauds that were not initially identified by the scoring algorithm. Right. Okay, but that's just one example of application of business information management. Moving forward, back to the theory part, we have the so-called pillars of business information management. There are 3 of them. First one is called information, the second one human or people pillar, and then the third one is the technology. From people and technology pillars perspective, I'll just scratch it a bit because there is, like I said, not enough time to do that. But from the informational point of view, we have 3 main ingredients, 3 main parts that are building up that pillar. The first one is called the data. The data is, of course, the smallest piece of information that describes a given event. That's the objective fact that can be later on categorized, can be aggregated, can have some context added to it, such that it would become something more, and that more is called the information. So the information is something that comprises of smaller bits of data that are already contextualized and that are relevant to a certain subject. Once you present that information to people knowledgeable on a given matter, that they have some experience working in your organization, they can apply their opinion, they can apply their skills in order to expand their knowledge over that piece of information. So data, information, and knowledge are the 3 parts that build the information pillar. Another example here to back up what I'm talking about. imagine, look at the graphic on the below part of this slide. What we've got here, it's a system created to serve the purpose of online bookings for flights. What is the actual process of, or what is the actual life of a piece of information or the piece of data that comes as a source until it reaches the right hand side where it turns out to be a knowledge for our organization? Well, we start with registering the event, which would be when a passenger likes to make a booking of a specific flight. The flight should be identified by a starting point, destination point, flight number, of course, names of the passenger, etc. Once you collect those business events, so once you have once you collect them over here at the start, each piece of information can be transformed in terms like it can be aggregated in order to become an information. So once we did that part with aggregating that's variety, that those pieces of data that came at the beginning, we are able to apply some further analysis. So that analysis is the thing that actually our skillful people in our organization can be useful. That's where their experience comes to play, and that's where we can make decisions based on what their experience tells us. For example, here we see that this particular flight has 80% utilization. Once we know that we have 98 bookings out of 125 places in the plane. Once we know that, we can then make some decisions and take some actions in order to improve the utilization. If that number, for example, was 99%, we could have deployed a larger airplane to expand the capacity and thus make that route more profitable. Of course, there are a variety of situations that can arise from such a system and such an analysis. It comes to the management to decide what to do once they consume the information that we present to them. So, to summarize, how we transform the data to become a knowledge, we just need to capture the data. We need to guide it or route it to the location where it will be processed. That is our information system. That's the red rectangle here. Then that information is being distributed to the users that know what to do with it. It's being analyzed. It's being consumed by the management, and then decisions are taken upon it to become knowledge and to expand an existing piece of knowledge that these people are in possession of. Okay. I usually have a small challenge here to the audience. If you look at these four pictures here, what would be the right sequence to order them? If you know that one of these pictures is a representation of a data, the other one is a representation of information, a third one is the knowledge, and there is a hidden fourth picture here, which is something else which we haven't discussed yet, but you can probably guess it out. Not sure if anyone would like to express their personal opinion on this challenge, but here's what it would look like.
I'd like to say it if it's possible.
Go.
So the second one, number 2, is first. Then
means it's the data, right?
Yeah, it's the data. Then number 3.
That becomes the information once you cook up all the ingredients, all the data. Okay.
Yeah. Then number 1, and then number 4.
Okay.
When we've dealt with all the data.
Okay. Which of
nothing left?
which one is the knowledge? Number 1 or number 4?
I think it's number 1.
Okay, I think it's number 4 because you need to consume the data and the information that's been presented to you, which leaves number 1 to be.
Very good comment, Peter, because this is not possible to have knowledge without having the opportunity to implement this knowledge within the practice. So without using the knowledge for the sake of knowledge doesn't work at all. So I do appreciate what you are saying.
Right, okay. Number 1 becomes then what? It's a pure representation of the information. Probably it improves slightly the taste of it, but at the end, in essence, we have most of the information here. So number 1 becomes a presentation, and that's something that most of the management, the people that consume the data, or the skillful people, they like to have the information presented in a certain way that is easily digestible by them. And by digestible, and I don't mean just directly consume it, but that's how people usually tend to perceive information. If it's just raw numbers in an Excel file, in an Excel table, that's not something that rings a bell for them. They need to have it presented in a specific way, which would probably trigger their knowledge better, or activate most of their knowledge in a better way, so to say. Okay. Let's move forward. I said the second pillar is called the people, the human factor, the human resource. Part of it are the employees in our company. Other parts are the suppliers, consumers, or the government, because we are obliged to comply with some regulations, with some laws in the country that we're operating in. But here I'm just focusing on the employees within our organization. Why so? Because later on, when we discuss the information systems, it would be better for us to match each of the systems to the level of in the hierarchical organization of our company. Okay, so what is on the chart there? It's an organizational structure within one enterprise. I'm not sure how many of you have already worked in a corporate structure. Most of you have worked somewhere for sure. That's for fact. But in a normal corporation, let's say there are several layers of management. On top of everyone sits the C level. That's the senior management. You have chief executive officer, chief financial officer, chief technical, or whatever other title they might have. Just below them sit the middle management. These are the people with a lot of experience, guys like architects. If we talk about this, an IT company, scientists, engineers that have like plenty of experience that could be there with the company since its very inception. Depends how it is the enterprise, of course. And on the lowest level is the operational level, where we have we could have some operational management, people that are directly responsible to supervise the rest of the employees that have no responsibilities other than execute their daily duties. Each of these levels of management have different needs in terms of information they need to consume in order to perform their job better. And for this purpose, they are using different types of information systems, which we will discuss right now. So the third pillar, like I said, is the technology resource. And there is this thing called information system, which is actually a set of components that are strongly connected between themselves, interrelated, in order to collect, process, store, and distribute information between the users of this system, and thus helping them to take better informed decisions. Okay. There is a hell of a lot ways how you can classify all these information systems that are out there in the world. I have used my own way to distinguish them just by categorizing them into, splitting them into two main categories there. Just for the purpose of this lecture here, I think it makes more sense to look at them in this way. By the size and the nature of the business, we have enterprise systems and, of course, non-enterprise systems, but the main focus falls here on the enterprise system. These are cross-functional systems, so it means that they offer more than one application. Like Professor Pisimo before me, he already explained, but the ERP system, the enterprise resource planning system, is something that can be used and adopted in a huge enterprise, huge corporation that has a variety of activities from delivery and tracking of products to customer relationships, marketing, building management, and a lot more. As a subset of this, you can have just a pure supply management system or customer relationship management system, a CRM system. If you have ever come across interaction with a call center, you would know that they're working definitely with a CRM system, because that's the easiest way how they can track their interaction with you. Or if you have been an employee in a call center, then you know that this is the easiest way how you can know what has happened in the past in terms of communication with a given customer. And that's where the CRM actually serves the best purpose. Knowledge management system is a system where which you would use in order to manage the knowledge, the useful information within your organization. Later on, I have a slide for that, just to describe it a bit better. And the second main category which I used here is by the decision-making needs the system addresses. That means it could be a transactional or analytical system. The transactional is not a subject of discussion here. These transactional systems usually are discussed in the course of database. I hope you have passed already such a course. But the business intelligence systems are the one that we can focus a bit here. Back to the slide with the organizational structure of the company. Here we can divide these business intelligence systems into such that serve the best purpose for the management, for the decision support systems, or for the executive support systems. For the executive support, it would mean that this is just the C-level of the company that consumes the data. The decision support could be either the C-level or the middle management. And the management information system could be used by any of these two, plus the operational management in the company. Okay, not going to spend more time on the ERP, CRM, supply chain, just knowledge management system I mentioned. What could it be? Well, if you're running an online business, you have an online market where you sell some stuff, what would be the best for you to store the knowledge for your business? From client's perspective, it would be nice if there is some forum, some blog, or some frequently asked questions section on your website. This can be considered as a knowledge management system. This is the closest that you can you can relate to at the moment. But actually, any form of a community that you can build, like a webinar, even if you stream on a regular basis, or if your company is running its own academy activities, like we, for example, in Adastra, we do have such an academy where we are preparing people, young talents, to our needs. That's also considered as a knowledge management system. In the second category, where I mentioned that information systems can be looked at by the decision-making needs they serve, I'm not going to jump into this definition with executive or decision or whatever other meaning was defined there, but rather in the analytical styles that exist out there. Well, business intelligence has the sole purpose to present the information by applying some analytics, some analysis on the data and information that has been sourced to it in an easy to understand way. That's referring back to what I said earlier, that the people that consume the data at the end, they like to see it in a certain way, and that certain way varies really from business to business. One management in one company has one type of preferences. In another company, it could be totally different. It just really depends on a client basis. It's a case by case. That's why the tools that are used to construct these analytics offer so many ways how to present the data. I have been told that you have already studied or looked at Tableau. Tableau is just one of the BI tools that is out there. There are many others, of course, and each client has adopted or has paid licenses for a specific tool that they like the most. And usually what we as a company would do is we would offer the expertise in terms of business intelligence, not so much in terms of the tool that would be specifically used for the given project. Or we tend to call ourselves platform or tool agnostic or tool independent. Means that it doesn't really matter what tools you would use, as long as you know what you're doing, then that makes no difference. Okay, analytic styles could be defined in 4 major categories again. One of them is called descriptive, what happened. Diagnostic style, that's why it happened. Predictive would be what is likely to happen with some certain degree with some certainty. And prescriptive, what actions should or could be taken should the prediction come to life, or should it become really if it happens. Okay, so from the descriptive and diagnostic type of analytics, we have an abundance of way how to present the data in a BI tool, in a BI application. The most popular one nowadays are called dashboards and scorecards, but in general, it could be any type of reporting. We call them reports because that's what they are. They are reporting some data. And the general rule here says that the more aggregated the data is, the higher in the hierarchy the consumer would stand. Or for example, here, if you look at the map of the world, if my business can afford to present data aggregated on a global scale, that means that I'm running really a huge business here. And who would be interested in the tendencies on a global scale? Of course, it would not be the operational managers, because they are usually locally distributed. So I will have operational management in Europe, in Asia, in North America, in specific countries even. But the CEO level is someone that is just one of them or 2 of them, and they sit just in one place, and that's where this piece of information becomes really valuable, to see the tendencies that are being developed throughout the period that we're interested in analyzing. Let's say a quarter or an annual tendency, and that's actually who is consuming the data. So the more it's aggregated in this way, in this example on a global scale, the higher in the hierarchy means the C-level. If I'm looking at, let's say, numbers for a given country, then probably the operational management would be interested in these numbers, or the middle management. Okay. And jump into the predictive and prescriptive analytics. See, this is a whole subject on its own, predictions and prescriptive analytics. But if I can just describe it in a few words, this is what nowadays is called mainly machine learning and AI. The machine learning could actually require from you to create a model just for the particular use case. Train that model in order to identify dependencies in the data, and expect from it to make a prediction with some certain degree of success, of course, based on the historical data. This is the most common case that you'll get nowadays. There are a variety of algorithms and ways how you can do that. The backpropagation one is probably, the backpropagation is one which is most commonly used, but not the only one, of course. And what I've tried here to point out with this diagram is just process how this can happen. Of course, at the beginning, you have to define the scope of your task. You need to find the data which you would use for training your model, your machine learning algorithm. You need to prepare the data to be in a way that is easily feedable for your model. And then train the model as much as you can on your historical data. Once you have it trained, then you can start feeding it with real-time data and expect the prediction to come out of it. Once it comes out, then you are able, after a certain time, to measure and estimate how accurate was that prediction, and then again try to modify your model with the new information that you come in possession of, and thus improving its prediction predictive abilities. So it is all iterative approach here that comes to play, and you should always know that your model can serve you a good purpose only for the use case that you defined it for. For example, if you have a model that is built to predict the rainfalls in South Europe, that's the only thing that it can do. It cannot predict what would be the wheat harvest, for example, in Ukraine, because that's totally different piece of information that you need to feed it at the very beginning in order to train it to recognize these dependencies in the source data. So this is the limitation of the machine learning at the moment, as far as I have been able to understand it. And at the end, an example of a predictive model that we created. Most of you probably know that each country, or at least all of them in the European Union, North America, they have specific national agencies that are responsible to control the gambling. I assume here that the country has legalized the gambling, and the idea of this particular project, this use case, was that one of the gambling companies that offer online gamblings, you can think of a company that is doing sports betting or any type of online casino games. They are obliged to follow the rules defined by this national agency for gambling control. And one of these rules says that the provider of such gambling services has to warn its customers, whenever they are about to blow their accounts. So idea here is you can check the previous behavior of your clients in order to recognize patterns that can actually lead them to lose all their money. Idea is, of course, none of the companies that are offering such services actually want their clients to go broke. They would like to keep them as long as possible and satisfied as possible. So it's a win-win situation here. The government is happy that the people not blowing all their money away. The customers are happy that they get some warnings in advance before that happens. The provider of the games is also happy because they keep their clients for longer term. So what was the idea is that we need to, of course, create such a predictive model that can be fed with historical data of past behavior of the clients, and by analyzing all these past behavior, we were able to issue some warnings straight to the customers and tell them, okay, if you continue in this way, in a couple of days you'll have no money left in your account. So this is an example of an application of a machine learning algorithm with an actual project that was done by our colleagues in Canada. Okay, and this is actually the last slide that I had prepared for today, and I'm open up for questions if should you have any.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much for your presentation, trying to cover different aspects of what hopefully our colleagues they do remember from the theory, and learning about some practical aspects of organizing data, retrieving information and knowledge in order to analyze the situations and take the right decisions. This is in fact the main challenge today. More than ever, we meet this very new requirement for each of us. It doesn't matter on what level within the organizations we work. We need to understand the data in a very, very different and broad sense in order to understand not only our company performance, could be micro, could be macro, could be medium-sized company. This is very important to understand how we do perform, but on the other hand, this is very critical to compare our performance with our competitors' performance. And additionally, we need to know a lot about country regulations. We need to know about the trends in political sense. So today we are challenged to organize different types of data in one unique place in order to have access to this data, to analyze it properly and to use it for decision-taking process. And before letting you, Peter, leave, I wanted just to say that we have today participants from Germany, from Portugal, from Italy, from Malta, from Ireland. Do I miss somebody? From Iran and Bulgaria, of course. So thank you very much for joining us, for sharing with us your experience. And I hope that collecting this group from people from different countries, we are putting a very good networking aspect that data will be used for the future. At least we shall keep our email addresses and we'll try to be in touch when we discuss similar problems. So thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. Colleagues, do you have any question to Peter? Silence. I said, I'm really very sorry that we do not run this event in a participant.
I'll think that as that I've been clear enough, and I've made my point clear enough, so everyone is, managed to digest this information.
I accept this to be the real situation. So thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thank you. So let me give the floor to Zahari now to share with us what this company Adastra meets in everyday situations about the analysis, about how to support the business today, because as we were discussing during the whole event today, this is really very critical to understand how we are performing. And as far as we read in books, this is the motto of business intelligence and analytics. The main issue is we to run the business and to become very knowledgeable, to know what we are running, why we are running this or that, and what are the results that we meet afterwards. So Zahari, the floor is yours.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot again. Thank you, Peter, as well for the presentation. I will continue with the presentation of our company and what we do actually. Just let me share my presentation here. And maybe I would also ask you, Professor Koyanova, maybe you can send in the chat my email for anyone if after the event wants to contact me or Adastra in any how I'm available there.
I will do this with pleasure because such partner within business intelligence is really very much esteemed.
Thanks. Okay, so I guess you should be able to see my presentation now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay, thanks. So, Adastra, Peter already told just some information in the beginning of his presentation, but let me give you some more insights about the company and what we do. Adastra is a Canadian company. We are part of a group. So we have more than 2,000 employees in the different offices in the world, and we provide business consulting and high-class data management services, solutions and software, as Peter said. Our expertise includes areas such as analysis of business information, data integration, data warehouses, and management of key business data of the leading companies all over the world. So we also developed some competencies and work in the emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, mobile development, cloud, RPA, robotic process automation, which also Peter said. So as you can see, the combining thing, the common thing between all of our expertise areas is the data. So since the beginning of the company, it was established in Canada in 1994. So since then, the data has been in the center of our company and our expertise and services. As I said, we're part of a group. So the main companies within the group are the consulting companies, Adastra Business Consulting, but we also have some companies there which are focused on the different areas of the information management and data analytics, such as blindspot.ai, which is focused in artificial intelligence, machine learning, optimization services. Atacama is also a company and also part of the group, and also a product which is used for software used for data quality management, master data management, and data governance. One of the products positioned in the Garden Magic Quadrant for such software. Adastra One is a company specialized in mobile application development. Instarea is a big data monetization company, and some complementary additional companies focused in services such as Akamar in recruitment services, and Pro Boston, which is a creative agency, marketing agency, which is responsible for the corporate vision of Adastra Group and companies within the group. And the next slide, I would like to present what are the main areas of our services and solutions. So we deliver functional solutions across various sectors, and we facilitate the transition to the digital era, actually, of our customers to whom we provide our consulting services. We focus on data processing and analysis and on building data warehouses. As I said, data has long been at the center of our activities, and of course, throughout the time, our competences have gradually expanded and now include such areas as artificial intelligence, cloud, big data, Internet of Things, mobile development, application development, mobile development, and so on. So you can see on those 5 areas here some sub-areas and sub-competencies which are listed. Those are the services and solutions where we have competence to deliver value to our customers. Here on the next slide are shown some of the vendors and some of the technology providers with whom Adastra has partnerships. As you can see, of course, the names are familiar to you, but maybe here it's worth mentioning that we are not, I think also Peter mentioned that for sure, we are not interconnected with any specific vendor. So on the contrary, we use technologies personalized depending on the specific needs of our business customers. So we develop our expertise in a wide area of technologies which are used by our customers, so to be able to help them, to consult them at the desired quality. And also we try to foresee the prospective technologies, which are emerging ones, in order to be able to develop expertise in them and to provide such quality service. Let me say some words about Adastra Bulgaria now. Adastra Bulgaria was established in 2007 with the office in Sofia. It is still the biggest office of Adastra in Bulgaria. In 2011 was established the office in Varna, and in 2018, it's already been 3 years now, since we have an office in Plovdiv. Despite in addition to the 3 offices here in Bulgaria, we have in those offices we have more than 270 professional consultants there, and becoming more every day. So from those offices, those consultants are delivering services for more than 130 projects for different parts of the world, where our customers reside. And so we have customers which are leading companies in the financial, automotive, telecommunication, or insurance areas, as Peter also gave some examples about such projects. So generally our consultants are working on different projects for different customers, and depending on the durations of those projects, they have different roles from one project to another. Let me say, when starting to speak about our customers, let me say something more about the areas where our customers come from. What kind of services do they have? As you can see here, the biggest part are organizations in the providing financial services, and those are preliminary banks. At that point, normally I ask attendees to guess or to give some to try to answer why do you think those kind of organizations need services such as ours. Anyone wants to answer?
Is there anybody here?
If not, I will answer. So as I explained so far, actually the biggest thing which is in the center of our services is the data. So as you can see, our customers come, our business customers come from areas where they have a lot of data available. So they need that data to be better organized, better analyzed, better represented, and better used, so it can give them some competitive advantage or provide them some insight or some additional information which help them deliver more value to their customers or organize better their production or being able to do better results in their field. So financial services, of course, you know, the banks, they have a lot of data, a lot of money are actually data records at some databases inside the banks. So they have a lot of customers, a lot of products, etc. And we help them use better that data so they can have some competitive advantage. Another sector is manufacturing, maybe automotive, cars or automotive area is here. Here again, we speak about a lot of data for production lines, for different modules, different parts, different customers, some kind of orders for additional parts or extras in their cars. So we again help companies here use better their data. The other two sectors which I would like to mention here is telecommunications. Again, here we have pretty much now very high bands of speeds of telecommunication services, and providers have a lot of data about you throughout the smartphones, throughout the applications, mobile applications which you are using. So using that data, they again can obtain some competitive advantage or being able to perform better. And at the last but not least, I will mention the retail sector, where we're speaking again about a lot of items stored and sold in kind of one retail store. Again, a lot of customers, a lot of processes for delivery and selling of those products. If we speak about the locations where our customers, business customers, reside, as I said, the company is Canadian, and we have a lot of companies in North America, basically USA and Canada. I would also like to mention the Central Europe, with maybe Germany here, with the biggest or very big car manufacturing companies there. And we also have a lot of companies in the local Bulgarian market. So some Bulgarian companies or some subsidiaries of international companies, which we also have here. And maybe the last technological slide, which I would like to present. Here you can see grouped the technologies which we develop know-how in. As you can see in the left part, data warehousing and database technologies. As I said, this kind of data warehousing technologies have been in the core of our services for a long time. And as part of them, we also find here the master data management in data quality technologies for data integration, which ensure that you take the take the data and integrate it into the data warehouse. BI and business intelligence and visualization technologies, which are the consumer of all effort to have this data warehouse, which actually present the information in front of the business customers, the things which Peter already said in his part. Also some more modern technologies like big data, like robotic process automation, like cloud solutions with the three vendors, main vendors here, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, and Amazon Web Services. So basically those are the technological know-how, the areas of technological know-how which we develop and have developed in Adastra. It's worth mentioning here that in our sector, in our area, lifelong learning is very important thing, and something which we try to search in the candidates joining Cadastra is their willingness to be able to continuously increase their knowledge and to be open to new knowledge, so they can develop. Our area is constantly developing and evolving, so we should be able to advance on that. And that's more or less all which I wanted to say about the company. Do you have any questions regarding that for me?
Thank you, Zachary. Thank you so much focusing on the activities that you are broadening your company development, because as we keep saying during the whole this event, the challenge of data, where to find the data, how to identify sources of data, how to organize the data, because today all is data, pictures, music, video, graphics, images, films, reports, of course. All this is data that we'd like to organize and to use for our analysis and managing the company. So thank you very much for sharing with us your company functionalities,
maybe,
and giving us this insight. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I do not understand if you understand correctly, then, because I wanted to give the floor for the last part of our presentation.
Yes, this is okay. Giving the floor to Violeta.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
This is because it was about the company and functionalities and performance of the company, and now we shall give the floor to Violeta in order to say how we people we need to grow within our knowledge and experience in order to be competitive tomorrow, and what is their search for, especially young entrepreneurs that will join your team. So Violeta, the floor is yours.
Thanks, both of you, and hi everyone. I'm really happy to be here, to be invited here, and to speak about career opportunities in Adastra. Career opportunities for freshly graduates students, and for people with minimal experience. Today I'm going to speak about two options in terms of junior roles that normally we have in Adastra. These two categories, I will start with the first one, our junior role that normally we have within the year, from January to December, depending on business needs and depending on seniority. Normally we post these job roles on our career page or typical job boards like JobsBG or DIFME or different channels like social media, Fadastra, LinkedIn, Facebook, and similar. And these roles are applicable for people with minimal experience, or for example, 1 year experience or 2 years experience that might be irrelevant, or some IT experience that are different, different from database. Another parts of this role can be applicable for people without any kind of experience as well. But would be better if you have some, for example, educational projects or self-study projects that can be mentioned in your resume. Such a project can give you a competitive advantage for sure. Our juniors roles provide some fast track career opportunities. After 1 or 2, for example, months or 3 months of preparation, you'll be able to work on projects with guided by or supported by our senior consultant. After first preparation within the company, dedicated courses that we have. Our requirements for a junior role are the first one is solid basic SQL knowledge, and the second one is by default English language, of course. And because we are a consulting company, soft skills are also important. Social skills, communication skills, the way you interact and communicate with others. In terms of our recruitment process, the process typically includes the first SQL assignments, SQL tests, such as theoretical part and practical parts, typically SQL queries. And the second part is technical interview. The purpose of this interview, of course, is technical validation, to know more in which field you are good at. Generally, this is the major purpose of this part. Of course, any kind of experience in the field of database and data management field, data processing, data visualization, everything would be beneficial for you and for us, of course. In terms of the next category, our internship program, internship opportunities. I will start with the general overview of the program. Our